Welcome to yet another edition of Avneer Presents the Outside View powered by WTS Sports. It's a different kind of program once again. Women's T20 Challenge is almost upon us. Three teams, Velocity, Supernova and Trailblazers. And I have three people with me. We'll just look at the teams, the composition, the expected starting 11 on this edition. Welcome Yash, Gomesh and Kaushik. Hope you all have your pointers ready for the Women's T20 Challenge. Shall we roll?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Right then, looking at the composition of the three teams, the base, if you can say, is the same as the last year. Three teams, probably same jersey colors, the same skippers for sure. First look, and what's your thought, Kaushik?
Look, it's kind of, it was expected because there was no cricket for 6 months, and for the BCCI to pull out this tournament at the last moment, so it was expected. The players they have chosen, the Indians were expected a lot because the last year the teams which were there, and among the foreigners, some new faces comes in, and with the WBBL also starting at the same time. So the last year's the big names they miss out, but there are some exciting new names, and I think it will be an exciting tournament for sure.
The overseas names are something we keenly look forward to. Look at who's made it, who's not. Yash, what's your first thought that came to your mind when you saw the 12 overseas players in?
12 overseas players. Very happy to see Natakan Jantam in there. She's had a good last 2 years. First with the qualifiers and then with the World Cup, she hit a 50 against Pakistan. So good that she's got a go here. Imagine if the WBBL wouldn't have clashed, then these players wouldn't have got a chance. It's only that Danny Wyatt is the only player who's playing in all the 3 editions of the T20 Challenge. So yeah, good players selected, and a total of 36 players getting a go with both the WBBL and the challenge going on simultaneously.
Gomesh, what's the first thought that came to your mind when you looked at the newer names or the squads itself? We'll go to the depth, but your first thought looking at the 3 squads.
My first thought was that a lot of under-19 players have got their chance in this tournament, though playing domestic one-day tournaments, and I think the performance they gave in that particular tournament has been given due credit and have been acknowledged that they are given it will be exciting to see a couple of few under-19 players in a certain team. Whether they will play it or not, we'll have to wait and watch.
Right, there are a lot of firsts when we talk about this edition of the Women's T20 Challenge. Coming to you, Kaushik, you broke the news, in fact, of Ayabonga Khaka making it to the tournament. So what's the general atmosphere like with respect to South African players, especially the first timers?
You see, when I spoke with the South African persons, obviously some officials. So as we all know, there is some turmoil going on in the cricket South Africa, and players coming from there, players from South Africa playing in this Women's T20 Challenge is a big thing for them because they have around quite a few names going to WBBL. So I was not expecting Khaka's name, to be very honest. I was expecting Suneli's. In fact, she made it. As far as Khaka is concerned, she had a good 2020, and she also had a good New Zealand series also before the World Cup. So it will be a good tournament for both Khaka and Suneli's, I believe.
Deandra Dottin returned to West Indies squad ahead of the T20 World Cup 2020, but she wasn't the Deandra Dottin that we know. Gomesh, having covered the England-West Indies T20I series as well, looking at how Dottin performed there towards the end, she started bowling. How big a plus is her presence going to be?
It is very crucial, and that is what makes Trailblazers stand apart from the crew squad. We have got the kind of replacements that we want for Susie Bates and Stephanie Tate from the previous edition. They've got Deandra Roten, they've got Shantam, and her all-rounding abilities will be very crucial because the venue, because of the venue as well, because the matches are happening in Sharjah, and where spin will be a crucial, where Indian players have the kind of armory in the Indian bowling attack. But seam attack, I think Deandra's all-round ability will be very crucial, and it is a big advantage for the team of Smriti Mandhana.
The likes of Muskan Malik, Ayushi Soni, etc. are some players who will rather gain a lot of exposure from the tournament. But do you think there are people who have missed out, who've been unlucky in that respect? Yes.
There are. So as Ananya tweeted the same day the squads got announced, there are players who have performed well at the senior domestics but have not got their go. For example, Rumeli Dhar, Shweta Parab, Sanjula Naik, the youngster from Goa, and Swagatika Rath. These are players who have performed well at the domestics but have not got their go. So just like last year, we saw Arundhati Reddy and Mansi Joshi. Even though they knocked the Indian doors, they're in the squad for the ODIs and T20s, but did not play any game. So, will the situation be the same this time around? Is something to be seen.
It's a nice open-ended question to end this conversation at and move towards our first 11 picks for each of the teams. So Trailblazers first. Clearly, first question or the first thing that I noticed was Gomesh's side had just 3 overseas picks. Remember, we stuck to 4 overseas in 11 as per last year's tournament. So that means each of these sides generally has 4 overseas picks. But Gomesh, your side has just 3 overseas players. Interesting choices. Would you like to explain?
The primary thing is the selection of Kashti Gautam, particularly after the performance that gave in the domestic one-day tournament. You know, she takes 35 wickets in 9 matches, and she can also contribute with the bat, and that is what made me select her over the overseas pick in this particular squad. Again, it could be alternative, it could be one, or it could go otherwise depending upon the team management. But personally, I feel she deserves a chance and add value in the lower order as well. She is, though it is a one-day tournament, she has shown ability with the bat, and with the ball, she is a leading wicket taker in that tournament. And it will be exciting to watch a 16-year-old fast bowler going in, you know. So which is why I picked her over the overseas player, and I feel they have a better replacements as well, even in the remaining 4 whoever is available. Trailblazers have a better squad bench than the other 2 teams, and that is a huge advantage for them.
Coming next to Kaushik, interesting that both Yash and Gomesh have enough space to feature both Richa Ghosh as well as Harleen Deol, but you are inclined towards having just one of them. Your reason for that?
We haven't seen much of them. I mean, in recent times, though Richa has done good in the T20 Challenger in Cuttack earlier in the this year, and she also has played in the Australia Tri-Series, which also had England, and she also played in the T20 World Cup against Bangladesh. But if you see Harleen didn't get a game in the T20 World Cup. So I am a bit confused with Harleen or Richa. So it's at last it's the management decision which way they can go.
Quickly coming to you, Yash, before moving forward, your 11 has 2 pure seamers and doesn't have Poonam Raut as do the other 2 sides. What's the reason Poonam Raut isn't a sure starter according to you, and don't you think you have less number of seam options?
So Poonam Raut is an opener. So you already have 3 openers. You have Totin, Mandhana and Chantam, all 3 of them as your openers. But of course, I would want to give my best batters more number of balls, and that's the reason I picked Totin to open with Mandhana and then Chantam coming in at number 3. One reason for Poonam Raut not featuring is that she's an opener. Second, whatever strike rates we have seen her batting at the international or the domestic levels, she usually takes her own sweet time to build her innings. So that is one reason you can't have a Poonam Raut into your T20 game when we're seeing that Sharjah is consistently producing high scores. Second, not having enough number of seamers. I have a Goswami, Doughton and Richa Ghosh. All three of them can be with the seam bowling options. But at the same time, with the pitches slowing in UAE, it would be good to see a lot more spinners, and spinners are going to be your wicket-taking options. Those are purely the reasons why I do not have a Kashvi Gautam as much as I would want to see her.
Quickly reminding our viewers, the matches are expected to be held in the small bylane or small ground of Sharjah. So the ground dimensions are very small, and the men's IPL that's going on sees high scoring games there. Let's move on to velocity. Kaushik again has some interesting picks. Here are the 11 selected by my three colleagues. And Kaushik, Sushri or Anagha and no Devika?
Yes, because see, I mean, as expected, the squad, the playing 11 will be, I mean, almost the same for every one of us. But I think Murli Anagha has done quite well. I mean, in recent times, she came through various age categories and she has done, I mean, in very quick time. As I was reading some of the reports on Anagha, I have a slightly inclined on Sushri because she can bat and she can bowl off spin, also good off spin, and she has done for Odisha, I mean, on a consistent basis. So that's the one of the reasons I have picked either Sushri or Anagha and no Devika.
So Gomesh, your logic behind having Devika over a Manali Dakshini or a Mansi Joshi, is it purely to do with the fact that she bowls leg spin?
That too, because Murli Anagha is probably only one. Murli Anagha and Veda, both of them in this squad have recently played the academic cricket tournament that happened in Bangalore, and Veda has been in really good touch. Murli Anagha was the leading wicket taker in that particular tournament. She took 14 wickets in 7 matches. Yes, I would like to go with Devika at least in the first match because of the option. And she has been a proven customer in the past as well, and she has played well in the last edition. For that particular reason, I would start with her, but I wouldn't mind if that's why to change to Anagha in the second match or later.
Right, let's move on to the last team, that is the Supernovas, where all of you sort of have similar teams. Here are the 11 that you have selected. Gomesh and Kaushik have a preference, at least in an option, for Arundhati Reddy, which is not the case with you, Yash.
A reason that I just wanted to select a straight 11, and that is the reason there is no option category which I have put. If there was an option, the 12th person would be Arundhati Reddy. So any one person goes, Arundhati Reddy straight away makes the 11. Yes, she was a part of the T20 World Cup, but again, as you see, there is a Pooja Vastrakar, Khaka, Selman. Who's that one you can remove from the team? Khaka and Selman both have been a part of the 11s for West Indies and South Africa. So you do not have a chance to remove someone and put in a Reddy.
Gomesh's inclination towards the Indian players is clearer because one, in the Trailblazers squad, he had 3 overseas picks, and here Reddy is an option to Ayabonga Khaka. So Gomesh, what's the similarity that you sort of put these two in a single slot?
No, just that a lot of this, because a lot of overseas players were not available. I thought this tournament could be, provide opportunity for a lot more Indian players in that context, and which is one of the reasons why I thought maybe the team might want to provide opportunity to Indian players because they haven't been playing for a long time now. That is one of the reasons why I went ahead with Arundhati instead of Kaushik. I mean, either one of them would be fine for me. Similarly, because as Yash said, because we couldn't remove Pooja, who has a strike rate of over 120 in T20, it is either Khaka or Arundhati for me. You can't remove another Indian player and put Arundhati there.
End of the day, it's the Indian Premier League.
Right. Shashikala Sirivardhane is one of the players in the Supernova squad. And after the T20 World Cup, she announced her international retirement. Kaushik, how eager are you to watch her back in action? But given that nothing much has changed because everybody was sort of in a post-retirement period, if I may so say. So how eager are you to watch Shashikala back in action?
I'm very eager. The kind of stature, the kind of player she is, the kind of way she served Sri Lankan cricket all through these years. So and with Chamari also her teammate in the squad, I'm very eager to see how Shashikala goes in that middle order or bowls those off spins, and I'm very eager to see.
Shashikala, of course, is a wily old customer. She's been following the IPL. She's been looking at what the spinners are doing, especially off spinners, so we can expect a bag full of tricks. So that's a bit of from our end with respect to the 11s that we expect. But before wrapping it up quickly, each of you, I'd like to know where do you expect these sides to finish? Yash, you go first.
I'll have Supernovas versus Velocity as the final, with Velocity possibly picking up the win.
Umesh?
I think Trailblazers there. Well, it is true that below Mandana that they might not have a lot of firepower, but I think with the pitches slowing down, they might do well. Kind of balance they have in the bowling attack.
So Kaushik, two of them have said that Supernovas are gonna make the finals. One has said Velocity, one has said Trailblazers. What's your pick?
For me, the two finalists will be Supernovas and Velocity. I'll definitely go with Velocity because I believe they have the capability. To win the tournament. Last time they didn't make it to the final, but this time it is a sixth sense that working Velocity will win the final.
Sudarshan, what's your pick?
Sixth sense says Kaushik. I probably wouldn't want to go against him. But my picks for the finalists are Trailblazers and Supernovas, and I'll not really pick a winner and I'll let it be. So viewers, what are your starting 11s for the three teams like, and what's your pick for the winner? Let us know in the comment section below, as it's a wrap from the Women's T20 Challenge on Avneer Presents the Outside View part by WTF Sports.